We are not in serious times, although Miranda Devine is a serious person who does truly yeoman's work. She's a New York Times or New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor, national best-selling author, and wait till you get her big. Wait till you see her new book, The Big Guy. Miranda, seriously, can I just start with putting into context people who think Trump is a fascistic dictator, Adolf Hitler wannabe, but they're all squeamish at an insult comic joking about Puerto Rico's trash problem. Miranda, are you kidding me?
Thanks for having me on, Mike. Look, obviously they needed that insult comic and his stupid jokes to try and buttress their completely empty Nazi slurs. I think you can see how completely desperate Kamala Harris's campaign is, and the Democrats are entirely about their prospects in 2020 up and down the ballot because they have descended into madness in the last week. They are just focusing on Trump is Hitler. And if you say that, you are saying that half of America are Nazis, that the tens of thousands of people who packed into Madison Square Garden, including me, including many of my colleagues and friends, and all the people who were outside are all Nazis. It just is insulting. It's really a stupid way of trying to win hearts and minds a week before a consequential election. I don't really understand it. It just shows they really don't have much else that works. That must be the only thing that kind of spikes up in the focus group testing. But I think it's become meaningless because you call people Hitler and Nazi enough, the whole term loses its sting. And I think that in itself is a tragedy because Hitler and the Nazis were truly evil genocidal maniacs, and we don't want to soften their crimes.
But Miranda, there's also a really deeply disturbing, nefarious undercurrent to this. I was at an event Sunday in Phoenix with Charlie Kirk and Seb Gorka and Larry Elder, and we had a great time, a big rally, 1,000 people. And Charlie pointed out there's one intention here. It's to try to get Trump killed again. When you're calling somebody Hitler, you're planting a seed that, what wouldn't somebody have done to have been able to stop Adolf Hitler from committing the Holocaust and slaughtering millions and millions of innocent people? And if you believe that, if you agree with that, you realize what a desperately dark place we have descended into. Miranda, we're at a place right now where I think it's very clear that the Democrat nominee for president wants to get her opponent killed.
Yeah, 100%. There have already been at least 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. One, as we know, almost blew his head off at that Butler rally back in June. And I wrote a column just the other day when Kamala Harris first came out and started calling Trump a Hitlerian Nazi, that she was being utterly reckless and inciting violence against Donald Trump. She was inciting another assassination attempt. And I honestly think they know that. We've been warning about their inflamed rhetoric since June, since the first Butler rally, and they've just doubled down. They know how dangerous it is. They are the first to point fingers and accuse Republicans of inflammatory, hateful, inciting violence rhetoric, and yet they themselves go after it with gay abandon. And Kamala Harris, that is just what her final message is to the American public. And if any one of us had the opportunity to travel back in time to Hitler's Germany and were able to assassinate Adolf Hitler, I think we would do it in a New York minute, because it would save 6 million Jews from the genocide and millions more who died in World War II. If you could prevent the genocide, if you could prevent World War II, you would do that. And so any crazy person who takes Kamala and the Democrats at their word and tries to assassinate Donald Trump, or God forbid, pulls it off, will be hailed as a hero. That's what they're thinking, and that's what Kamala Harris is telling them. If you do this terrible deed, you will be a hero in history. History will completely exonerate you of any moral wrong, and you will be a hero who saved America from the next Adolf Hitler. That's why it's so dangerous and so reckless and so evil of them. I don't know how anybody could even think of voting for this party that's willing to go to these lengths to retain power.
Amen. Look, one of the great tragedies of our time is the way the media looked the other way over the nefarious activities of Joe Biden and his son. You go to Amazon now, Miranda's book is out, The Big Guy, How a President and His Son Sold Out America. And I'll bet you have a real relief at being able to put this in book form, a story you've been telling for years.
Yes, look, it's a sequel to my last book, Laptop from Hell, which was really about all the corruption that was displayed on Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop. But the problem was, as soon as we at the New York Post started publishing stories from that laptop that showed that Joe Biden was involved in his family's influence peddling, making millions of dollars from China and Russia and Kazakhstan and Russia and so on, as soon as we did that, we were censored by big tech, by Twitter and Facebook. And then we had those 51 former intelligence officials, most of them CIA, who lied and said that the laptop was Russian disinformation. And when I started looking into it, I realized that the biggest story, bigger than the story of corruption, was the cover-up, just like in Watergate. And
Sure.
we now have the CIA, the FBI, the State Department, the Department of Justice, the IRS, all conspired to cover up the Biden family corruption, and they're the same people propping up Kamala Harris today.
Get the book, The Big Guy, How a President and His Son Sold Out America by the great Miranda Devine. Miranda, keep fighting the good fight. Thanks for joining us.